Hello and welcome to a cooler Raggy's Beers, Wines and Spirits review. Tonight, or this afternoon rather, I'm going to review one of my absolute favourites. Waiting for Morrison's to stock it because Morrison's are the only place in Nottingham that you can get it in. I mean, apart from your proper enthusiast shops. So, Titanics Plum Porter. It is absolutely divine. I've had it many times. I've been waiting to see it back in because it's one of these that once it's in the shops, it sells like the clappers, and you really struggle. It's got an alcohol content of 4.9%. I'll just tell you what it says on the back. This beer is dark, strong and well-rounded. The richness of such a rotund beer is brought to an even keel by the late addition of Golding's hops and natural plum flavouring. Take the opportunity and go for the low-hanging fruit. The sumptuous beer really is a plum. So visually you see dark ruby. On the nose a rich fruit, which is obvious, that's going to be obvious, and taste fruity plum with a hoppy finish. Oh, no sooner ado, let's crack it open. Give it a pour. Straight away you can see the dark, the ruby colour, similar to like a hobgoblin type colour. Nice beige head on it. Plenty of carbonation and lacing. Oh, it absolutely smells gorgeous. Let's have a taste. Obviously plum. Slight bitterness, but it's nice, it's a nice bitterness. Gentle hops. Oh. If you've never tasted this, you need to go to the website and buy there. They sell a mixed case. I was looking just a minute ago. Let's look at reviews then. This is beeradvocate.com. 3.75 out of 5. Plum is dominant scent, but not too overdone for taste. Taste is like a standard porter, mildly sweet with some roastiness, and earthy more than bitter. Someone's given it a 4.8 out of 5. Here's another one. 3.51. Glossy black with strong plum smell and flavour. Not much chocolate or coffee, but lots of sweet rather than tart plum and a hint of smokiness. Body is light and with moderate carbonation and a dry finish. An interesting beer. I like the concept, but I prefer more porter and less plum. I don't agree with that really. Me myself, and it is a fantastic beer. Drank it many times. I'm only getting this so I can actually put it on a review. I'd actually prefer stronger, but I'll get to that in a minute. 4.19 out of 5, and this is from a cask. Dark brown with ruby highlights beneath a thin head of khaki. Good head retention and lacing. Fruity in the nose with some caramel and dark chocolate. I did taste a bit of chocolate, but I've also had a flake but just before because I'm starving. It's like 5 o'clock in the afternoon and I ain't had nothing to eat yet. Caramel malts come through as well, which is nice and not always the case with porters. Subtly buttery, moderate to medium bitterness balances. Some earthy dark skinned fruit character gives it a touch of astringency. Wow, that's some good word, isn't it? Dry finish with some mild grassy and leafy hops and fruit lingering. Yeah, the fruit does linger, but you're going to get that because it's a plum porter. Medium light in body and smooth via cask conditioning. Remarkably balanced and drinkable while still being a bit of an eye-opener, i.e. unusual. Yeah, I agree with most of the comments there. So, let me have a bit more. Oh, you know, I've never been a fan of plums, and I tried this once, and I was gobsmacked by how good it was. Now, I'll tell you a bit more about Titanic. They make some absolutely belting beers. From their website, they do a Kolsch, which is a lager beer, and that's 4.4%. Nine Dogs, which is like a hoppy beer. Doesn't really say much else. I'm not going into detail because I can't. My internet's run out. You've got Steerage, which looks like a golden beer. You've got Iceberg, which I've seen that in Morrison's. Another golden beer, I think, really. White Star, which is a golden fruity beer. Ooh. So I must try that. Stout, which is obviously... No, it's not letting me do it. Obviously a stout. Oh, it's bloody doing it now. I'm just getting a fraction bit of internet. Look how slow the internet is. I mean, go back to the previous page. Obviously, Plum Porter, 4.9%. They also do a Plum Porter Grand Reserve, which is a 6.5% Plum Porter. I haven't tried that yet, but I need to buy some of that. So as soon as it comes out and I've got some available cash reserves, I shall get it. You've got a classic mild at 3.5%. You know, you don't see mild as much these days, so it's nice that somebody's doing it. When I was at Sainsbury's, lots of people would ask for mild, and being a bit of a dimbo at the time and not really knowing what mild was, you know, it was a struggle to answer them. And but obviously, you can still get mild in, of all places, Morrison's. They've got one called First Class, which I think is a amber spicy beer. So I'm going to have to take a run out to Stafford, which is near Alton Towers, of all places. Lifeboat. Like fruity, yeah. You've got Black Ice, which is like a black, I would say, stout of some sort. There you go, Black Ice. You've got Anchor, another one. Cherry Dark, a cherry flavour beer. Oh, I've got to try it, you know. 4.4%, again, I'd rather have a stronger version. Chocolate and vanilla stout. And I'm sure they actually do a cappuccino stout as well. Yep, cappuccino stout. And they actually do more beers. Captain Smith's as well, so obviously another Titanic themed beer. So, you know, do some absolute cracking beers and some that you don't see anywhere else. So I'm going to have to either drive over. Thing is, it's 15 quid. I might ask if I can, on their website, if they'll send me a box of all singles for review purposes and pay them that way, rather than take a drive all the way to Stafford, because it's a ball ache getting all the way out there to drive and come back. And I don't know how the wife would appreciate me going all that way. So anyway, back to this. Gorgeous, you know, one of the best fruity beers that's on sale. St. Peter's also do a Plum Porter. Okay, it was in Morrison's beer festival earlier this year. I walked in and they've got a beer festival on. There's like 15 beers I've never had, and it's like, you know, and anybody who's a fan of beers, and I am a fan, you know, more than anything, you're there and it's like Candyland, and you think, bloody hell, I've not had none of these. So the wife says, oh, go and get them then. So I did, and got one of each, and I think it was put away for Father's Day or birthday present, so, or even a Christmas present it might have been, not sure. Oh, so lovely. Not too overdone on the plum. Light bitterness, nothing nasty. Definitely a bit of earthiness in it. The plum does linger. So I suppose if you're not a fan of plums and fruit beers, you're not going to like this. But if you are, like me, and you like your darker beers, your stouts and your porters, and especially if you like your dark fruity beers, you're going to love this. It's more drinkable in any time of the year. It's not a winter warmer beer, so you don't get it confused with, you know, some of the Christmas ales and things like that. This is definitely a beer to be drunk in the middle of summer. You know, it's very nice. Could you drink 4 or 5 in a session? No, I don't think you could. I think 1 or 2, and you'd have had your share. And you just move on to the cherry stout and the cappuccino stout and the chocolate and vanilla. You know, dear, I've got to get me some of them. Absolutely spot on. Just goes to show you that there's an industry. There's you know, there's certainly a market for fruit beers. You know, and the people at Titanic have done well exploiting that, because this is beautiful. I can't wait to taste the cherry. You know, and to me, I'd like to see like a strawberry stout. I'd like somebody to come out with the reserve versions are brilliant, because if you're a fan of this, and Titanic do the reserve version, which is stronger, 6.5%, so obviously a bit, it's more for the connoisseur. You're going to pay a bit more for it, but you know, if you're a fan of beers, you don't mind paying more for it, because if you're getting something that's an extra special beer, then that's the good thing. And obviously if you've already had this, then you know where you're going with the taste, so you know that the 6.5% version is going to be that's a bit more kick to it. So out of 5, it's got to be a high score. It's not quite King Goblin. I still think that's my favourite ale, but it's a top 5 beer for me. Absolutely spot on. Well, until at some stage I'm going to have to go through all my reviews and actually note down what I've gave each review. I know my tops, but I don't know and I know the very, very bottom, which is Budweiser Lager, which was horrible. But anyway, nothing's going to be a 5, because if you give anything a 5 or even a 4.9, you haven't got room for manoeuvre when new beers and new better beers come out. So 4.8, which I gave to King Goblin, is about as high as I ever want to really go, unless something comes out which is absolutely amazing. So for this, I'm going to give it a very high 4.78, number 2 on my list. It's not as strong as some of the beers that I like. I mean, I like stronger beers. I'd love to see where the Grand Reserve version comes in. Got to get myself some of that. I mean, I just wish they did a takeover of a beer. If anybody watching this who owns a pub in Nottingham, they actually do takeovers of your bar, where they'll come down and bang a load of their beers on, and for however long you want it, and it's a great way of bringing people in, especially if you've got like an event, and because I've seen it advertised on their Facebook page, and if they've got an event, and what a great way to go. And I tell you now, This and the cherry would, I reckon, would be massive sellers. Oof. Not wasting that drop. Brilliant. Absolutely spot on. Well done, Titanic. Hey, this one's not sunk. Well, into my mouth, yeah. Well done. Cheers.